The Naughty Christmas Goblins. The first frosty December night had not quite passed when something miraculous began at the old primary school that neither the children nor the teachers would forget any time soon. The freshly fallen snow which had settled on the schoolyard glittered in the lights as if someone had sprinkled tiny little diamonds everywhere. While the first children trudged through the snow toward the school, little troublemakers steered in the attic. They were two Christmas goblins, who had decided to make a lot of mischief in the otherwise quiet and peaceful primary school this Christmas. One of them was called Rutsy. He was no bigger than a small gym bag, had a bit of a belly, and was even cheekier than the worst rascal in second grade. On his tousled head, he wore a red-pointed hat with lots of little bells dangling from its tip. The other answered to the name Fatsy. He was a bit slimmer. His belly did not peek out from under his bright green sweater like Rutsy's did. Huge ear warmers, also with lots of little bells, covered his pointy ears.
"This Christmas time we will play funny pranks on everyone,"
Rutsy whispered.
"Oh yes, that's going to be so much fun. This time we won't just hide shoes or secretly gobble up the headmistress' chocolate stash,"
Fatsy crowed. Rutsy rubbed his tiny hands together in eager anticipation.
"We will bring true Christmas chaos to the school. Mwah-ha-ha-ha-ha!"
It began when the janitor stomped across the schoolyard, curling loudly on the Thursday before the fourth Sunday of Advent. Someone had hung all his garden tools side by side along the long wall of the gym. Daya from Class 3B, who was walking with her classmates to PE, cried out in astonishment. "The shovels, rakes and brooms look almost like the musical notes I always have to practice." And indeed, the tools hung there like musical notes. After a short moment of confusion, Mrs. Clem, the music teacher, recognized it as the Christmas carol, "O Christmas Tree." But that was far from all. The wallpaper on every screen, iPad and computer in the school had been changed and could not be altered back. It showed Santa Claus on his sleigh, flying across the sky with his reindeer. But his face had turned green, and he was holding his nose with his right hand. No wonder, because the reindeer were all farting terribly, as could be seen from the green puffs of steam rising from their bottoms. Many children even said they could smell the farts in the school. It was that bad. Despite opening all the doors and windows to let in fresh air, the nasty odor clung to the whole of the building. The headmistress sat at her desk in despair and was looking forward to eating a generous portion from her secret chocolate stash to calm her nerves. But sadly, where the chocolate should have been, there were only old acorns and chestnuts. To make matters worse, someone had shaven off all pine needles of the big Christmas tree in the assembly hall and glued them onto the teachers' portraits that hung outside the staff room. They all now had funny beards and braids. When the music teacher tried to play a Christmas song on the piano, every key produced a sound which resembled the awful screech of a cat that just had its tail accidentally stepped on. But the two Christmas goblins did not stop there. They had secretly swapped the contents of the sugar and salt jars, so now all the homemade cookies were inedible. That was too much for the children, who had up to then laughed at the pranks. Everyone sat in their classroom feeling sad. Their pre-Christmas cheer had been thoroughly spoiled. Rutsy and Fatsy sat atop a big wreath and admired the chaos they had caused. Wherever they listened, teachers and children suspected one another and blamed each other for the whole mess.
"This is really funny. Look how they are arguing with each other,"
Fatsy giggled.
Come on, I'm sure we can think of more mischief,
Rutsy said, clutching his little belly with laughter.
So,
thundered a deep voice behind them all of a sudden. Two large hands settled on their shoulders, so they could not run away.
So you find it funny to spoil other people's joy and make them sad?
The usually friendly Santa Claus had caught the two goblins red-handed.
Oh, come on, Santa. It's not that bad.
They tried to talk their way out of their troubles.
Not bad?
Santa's voice grew even deeper and angrier.
Do you see little Janice over there? See how he's crying? And there, next to the piano, even the music teacher has tears in her eyes. And if you look closely, you will find many others whom you have really hurt with your pranks.
The more the little goblins looked around, the more they realized what they had done. They felt something they had not felt for a very long time, a truly guilty conscience. They slowly turned to Santa, who now stood before them with an angry face and with folded arms.
I think we have a lot to make right,
Rutsy stammered.
I think so too.
The very angry Santa thundered.
Tomorrow is the last school day before Christmas. You don't have much time left. I will come back and check up on you.
A moment later he had vanished without a trace. That day no one went home happy. When the children entered the school the next day, they could hardly believe their eyes. The teachers stood with open mouth at the entrance of the assembly hall. Garlands of fur were everywhere, decorated with golden pine cones, fairy lights, and little bells. On the many tables were platters of freshly baked Christmas treats and cups of hot chocolate. A large, festively decorated Christmas tree with numerous brightly wrapped presents beneath it made the children stare wide-eyed. Near the brightly polished piano, a clearing of throat could be heard. The eyes of those present grew even wider. Rutsy and Futsy sat together on the piano bench and looked around with guilty expressions on their faces.
Under normal circumstances, you cannot see us, but today we are making an exception,
Rutsy began.
We think we went a bit too far with our pranks yesterday, and we are very sorry.
Futsy finished their short but heartfelt apology. Deadly silence filled the room. Finally, Daya mustered up all her courage, walked over to the two naughty goblins, and hugged them. We accept your apology, but only if you stay and celebrate with us. The two little troublemakers were speechless. No one had ever been kind to them before. Then something wonderful happened. A bright light appeared, and where two Christmas goblins had just been sitting, there now sat two handsome Christmas elves. Santa stood by the window, watching and quietly enjoying the whole thing, smiling to himself. It was always a joy to witness a true Christmas miracle. How about you? Have you ever experienced a Christmas miracle?